On this episode, we're talking estate sales with Linda Baker Krim from Everything But the House. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Bob Wahl Show. On the Bob Wahl Show, we talk business, St. Louis, and real estate. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Bob Wahl Show. On the Bob Wahl Show, we talk business, St. Louis, and real estate. Today, I'm excited because I ran across a really cool company that's, I don't want to be dramatic and say revolutionizing the estate.
Oh, but we are.
Revolutionizing the estate sale company, but she's right. They kind of are. There's a really cool company called Everything But the House, and you guys do estate sales.
Correct.
Really going to be interesting to dive into that, but I guess before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I'll just have you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the estate sale business.
Sure. Well, on a personal note, I'm married and I have one son and a beautiful daughter-in-law and an even more beautiful granddaughter who will be 10 months old this Thursday. We also have 2 dogs and 2 cats, and they are all rescues. Okay. So that's on the personal note. Now, as far as how I got into estate sales, actually estate sales found me.
Okay.
They did. The recruiter from Everything But the House actually reached out to me on LinkedIn, and it was a natural fit for me because I've always liked knowing that in the job that I'm doing, whatever it is, whatever career, that I'm actually able to help people. Mm-hmm. And with Everything But the House, it's a good mix. And plus, it's also that excitement of discovery has been a big thing for me, regardless of what I've been involved in.
Right.
Everything But the House combines both of those. So knowing that I'm actually having a career with a purpose and helping individuals and fulfilling a need was a big thing for me. So it was a natural fit.
That's great. I'm going to start off simple and not assume everyone knows what an estate sale is.
Okay.
I'll just have you tell.
Well, an estate sale, actually in some parts of the country, are called tag sales as well. But an estate sale is a way of liquidating or selling off personal assets. Mm-hmm. And it could also include not just the contents, but also the real estate, which in that case you would be selling.
Right.
So that in a nutshell, pretty simplified, is what an estate sale is.
Now, one of the questions I want to ask was how your company got started. You guys also, I was going to have you talk a little bit about what you specifically do and the technology side of it. When prior to starting recording, you mentioned you didn't start out as a technology-based company. Your company kind of evolved a little bit as far as how you do.
No, in the beginning, the founder, Jackie Denny,
okay,
she was not in the technology aspect of it. So that's when she just had her own personal business.
Okay.
And actually a very successful business in the Cincinnati area, and made quite a name for herself.
Okay.
And in doing so, one day she was approached by this young guy, who is now we have 2 founders, Jackie Denny and Brian Graves.
Cool.
And Brian, this young gun, as I'll call him, came up and approached her, and he told her, he said, "Jackie, you need to take this concept digital."
Okay.
And she said, "Me, digital? Oh yeah, sure." And here we are today. So that's the, again, very simplistic way of how we began, but it's a pretty interesting story because it has, and we are truly revolutionizing estate sales. Now, the other way it evolved is that Jackie knew from being in the estate sale business that there were a lot of needs that the clients were having that weren't being met. Okay. Sure, the items were being sold, and then they were still left with items that weren't. And the family was like, now I'm just going from a family standpoint because there's a lot of different avenues on this as well.
Of course.
But the families were being left with all those items that hadn't sold. Mm-hmm. And what do we do with all of this? How do we manage this? How do we cope with this? And this is how our team comes in. Just a little example is that a lot of times we'll talk about estate deaths at the moment, and then we can move on to the other avenues. Mm-hmm. When there is an estate death and the children are left to manage the liquidation of that estate, it can become very overwhelming. I just worked with some families recently that had flown in from all over the country. I mean, let's think about it. We all have our own lives, we have our own families, we have jobs that we're trying to get to, and then all of a sudden we realize that here we are, mom and dad's estate, and we have probably, oh gosh, could be 30, 40, 50 years of accumulated items. This is, what do we do?
Right.
Where do we start? And, you know, I walked in the
It's
other day.
an overwhelming process.
It's extremely overwhelming.
Right.
And if you think about it from the emotional standpoint as well, here the kids are and in most cases, I'm seeing them within 2 weeks of a death.
Right.
So they are still reeling from losing a loved one, but yet here we're down to the nuts and bolts and we have to get this done.
Right.
And that's tough.
It is tough.
Don't even know where to begin. So that's
Right.
where we come in. I am the first point of contact. We work with a lot of realtors, and you know, I say we sell everything but the house, so Bob can.
Right.
But we come in and they get a free consultation from me. And there's another, I have a counterpart in the market. So there are actually two of us in the market. We're called sales specialists.
Right.
And I'm coming in to walk you through the process, kind of help nudge you along. Talk about the things that are precious and dear to you that you may want to keep within the family. Talk about the items that you know we're going to put into the estate sale. And then we're going to walk through the process of identifying those items. And what I'm looking for initially are what we call marquee items. And those marquee items are what will carry the labor costs that would be involved. Because we don't just come in and identify and just take those sale items. We actually are going to remove those from the home as well. So when we say full service,
Very full service.
we're very full service.
Now, the types of the technology part of it, that's what I think a lot of people are going to be interested in. How do you go about selling the items, and what's the process you have online? That's
Okay.
really, really cool.
Once our team comes in, got to take you here so you know how we get
Right,
to there.
right.
When we've identified the items, then the next step
Yeah.
that happens is that our operations team comes in.
Right.
And they actually start something that's called the cataloging process, or organizing in some cases. And what they're doing is they're actually sorting into 3 different categories. Because we coordinate the sale of the items, we
Okay.
coordinate the donation pickup, and we coordinate trash pickup.
Okay.
Okay, we handle all shipping and we handle all payments. So the team comes in and they will actually identify the sellable items for the auction, the items to be donated, and then the items for trash.
Okay.
Once that is done, although I got to back up because I'm a little bit, you know, I told him a little bit,
No,
my
go ahead.
nerd side comes out on this one because I think it's just super cool.
Yeah.
Is that the team actually, the operations team actually has an app on their phone that when they take a photo, let's say take a photo of this microphone, it's assigning a barcode to that microphone. And then they give it a brief description. And then that photo goes to our corporate headquarters where we have somewhere between 200 and 300 experts in every field you can imagine, be it artwork, it
Yeah.
could be media,
Jewelry.
Jewelry.
Yeah.
you know, cars, antique furniture, and they're going to start to research this.
Okay.
Okay, so that is immediately shot there for that, and I'm going to circle back around to the research part in a minute. So then the team will package all these items and get them ready, and we remove them from the home. So everything is removed from the home. Anything in our market that is larger than an armchair actually is shipped to our central distribution center in Blue Ash, Ohio, which is basically a suburb of Cincinnati. Cincinnati is where our headquarters is located. Anything, did I say larger? Anything smaller than an armchair goes to Blue Ash, not larger. Everything larger stays here in our local market.
Okay.
Okay, so in the warehouse here. Now, this is where it gets, to me, gets very fun and exciting.
Okay.
So those quick picks, as we call them, that had the barcode assigned, are now at the corporate headquarters, and the experts are researching them, and they're making sure they have all of the correct keywords associated with that item. And the reason for that is that we do have very sophisticated bidders on our site.
Okay.
We have bidders in over 140 countries. We have very close to 1 million active registered bidders on our site.
Okay.
Okay, so that's a huge bidder base, which means to your clients and to anybody out there who may have a need is that at any given time, there's between 10 to 15,000 individuals looking at your estate items. So that's a lot. You couldn't get those in your home.
Right.
And the other cool part about what we do is that you don't have strangers walking through your home.
Yeah, that's nice.
All right. And only our team would be there and moving those items out. Now then, once they get those keywords, now Yadros, I don't know how many people are familiar with Yadros, but that's a type of statute a lot of people are.
Okay.
But there will be bidders who will actually have that into their profile, and they want to be alerted when Yadros show up in our sales. Mm-hmm. So then we're set up where they will get a notice from us or an alert that says, you want to take a look at this auction because it contains Yadros.
Yeah.
So once all this description is done, there's a photo taken of this, not just one, but numerous photos, because we're very transparent on our site.
Right.
And we want to make sure that every bidder knows exactly what they're bidding on.
Condition of the item.
Condition of the item.
Okay.
So if this said that there was a scratch, then we're going to zoom in on that scratch so you can see and know what you're bidding on.
Right.
So all those photos are taken, and the sale then goes live for 7 days on our site.
Okay.
7 days. And everything starts at $1.
Okay.
No reserves. There's a reason for that. We have history to prove, over 10 years of history that proves that when you started at $1, you are not eliminating, if you have a reserve, you're eliminating a certain segment there. This opens it up to everyone, all the entire bidder base.
That's great.
And I know I'm kind of rambling on here,
no,
but I do get very excited about it.
Very interesting and very good information as far as letting people know your process specifically, because it really is much different. And there's many things involved. And when I met with you last week, it was clear that you guys have an impressive business model, and the way you do things, there's a reason for every step that you guys go through. So.
There is. And, when I say everything starts at $1, I'll give you a couple of examples. We just recently sold a 1954 Corvette. It started at $1 and then ended at $62,000.
Yeah.
We had a painting that started at $1 and ended at $120,000. Those are the types of things that happen every day on our site.
See, another thing worth noting too is there's not, I forgot what the term you called it. I found it entertaining, but
sniping.
There's no sniping
this,
and that's very relevant. So I'll have you talk about that.
It is. So sniping, not everybody is familiar with the term.
A lot of people have done it. I've done it on eBay and those types of things.
Yes. But we don't, and here's why. So sniping is actually this. It can be a computer software program or an individual that comes in at that very last nanosecond that the estate sale is, or the online auction is going to end.
Right.
Our auctions here in the St. Louis market begin ending on any specific night at 7 o'clock. After, whatever those 7 days are when it started and ended, they begin 7 Central Time. So if that computer program or the individual comes in at that last nanosecond and places the bid, then our system is set up to continue to add 5 minutes until there's no longer any activity. What does that mean to the seller? Here's what it means. In most cases, it's referred to as a hard close, whereas if sniping were allowed, and the item, we're picking on Mr. Microphone today, but if Mr. Microphone here were to get that last nanosecond bid at $50, that's it. It stops, it's sold at $50. On our site, if that bid comes in at 50, we add 5 more minutes. And the next bid may be 51. It depends because the increments do increase, so then it could be $55. And keeps going until you could end up with Mr. Microphone selling for $250. Okay. Now, I don't know the value of Mr. Microphone.
No, it's fine. And the microphone is officially for sale. So put your bids in the comments section. No sniping. And when the bidding stops, if you guys want the microphone, let me know. But no, it's not for sale.
It's that human nature.
Right.
That's why everything starting at $1 works so well. Is that
I understand that from a marketing standpoint.
Absolutely. When you put so you identify an item that you're interested in, and you place that $1 bid, you're taking ownership. And we give you a nice little notice that says, congratulations, you're winning.
Right.
And so you're excited.
Right.
You're winning. And then if you get outbid, though, you get a notice from us that says, oh, no, we're sorry, you've been outbid.
Right.
Then you're like, wait a minute, that was my item. Who's bidding against me? I'm going back in and I'm bidding again. That's where we see, definitely the items increasing in revenue. One of our goals for our sellers is to meet in meeting one of the needs is we want to maximize the revenue that they receive. This is one of those ways because of our large bidder base. There's
Right.
a lot of interested people there. We typically bring 3 to 5 times higher revenue than any other alternative. So
I believe that for sure when you're talking about comparing to other estate sale companies. And I haven't worked with multiple estate sale companies to really give you life experience with it, but just having enough knowledge with what you do and knowing what other estate sale companies do, I don't see how they don't have near the people competing for the items, which means I don't understand how they could get, I don't understand how they could get more per item
Right.
that you guys could get. I mean, you're just set up to where you have people competing online, you're drawing more buyers, and that's going to get people more money for the items in the estate sale.
And with you saying that, when you are talking about a traditional type of auction,
Right.
Today we have snow. It's a little
Right.
messy out there this morning. So if
Right.
your estate sale was today or your auction was today,
Good point.
you're probably not going to have a great turnout. Even on a good day, you know, if you're lucky, let's say you get 50 people who show up for your auction. Those 50 people are determining the value of your items. Whereas on our site, as I mentioned before, we have close to 1 million active bidders. And each auction is getting between 10 to 15,000 people looking at it. Those people are determining the value.
And I'll say this, we can talk about it all day long. It clicked for me when I went on the website.
Absolutely.
And I saw, and you could look, another key is you can look by location. So if you're in the St. Louis area, you can look and see if you have any estate sales going on in St. Louis, and you could actually pick up the item. So
Oh, absolutely. You can pick up at the warehouse.
and I assume that saves you the shipping.
It saves
cost.
the shipping
So-
cost. There is a $30 processing fee,
Okay.
you know, to pick up, but that's it.
Okay.
It's a warehouse fee for
I
all of
see.
the handling.
I see.
But yes, you can pick up local.
Okay.
And if you go to ebth.com, and that stands for everything but the house, so ebth.com, that is our site. And you can, like you said, on the left-hand side, you can sort or go down and choose your city. You can, all sales, you can go into the cities. Let's say you choose St. Louis. You can also sort, not even just by St. Louis, you can sort from all of our sales across the country by going into the search window. You're going to first choose all categories. In the search window, let's say you choose jewelry.
Okay.
If you're wanting to maybe see, because I have this beautiful ring, I want to see what it's going to sell for on your site, and you
Right.
know all the ins and outs of it, then you can put in, let's say, blue topaz and diamond ring.
Okay.
You can search for that, then you would click on ended items, and you want to click on high to low. That's going to tell you exactly what the highest one was all the way down to the lowest.
Okay.
Now, a little trick on the opposite side. There are still deals to be had, though we do, like I said, you know, typically bring 3 to 5 times higher revenue. If you're in there shopping and you're kind of having fun, you know, that discovery
Right.
of, is there a deal here somewhere?
Right.
Then reverse that search.
Okay.
Go to live sales at that point, you know, all of that are active. It's actually called active sales. And then search from low to high.
Okay.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
And
No, that makes sense.
yeah, it's a way to see if there's something fun to be had.
Well, I want to keep the video somewhat shorter, but the types of clients you work with, I do want you to clarify that on that as well. You don't have to have a multi-million-dollar.
Absolutely not.
Home.
No.
You do those, but you don't have to. You work with many different types of clients.
Absolutely.
So-
So from a full estate standpoint, I mean, it could be anywhere from a $12,000 estate. Don't get that too wrapped up in your head because we'll
Right.
determine that. But anyway,
Right.
$12,000 estate. We've had one. The contents alone went for 1.8 million.
Okay.
So we work with all types of clients. I'm working on a penthouse right now. That's a $4 million penthouse, and so that's just an example on the high end.
Right.
But then we work with individuals that family members and/or individuals themselves who could be dealing with estate death, relocation, divorce, downsizing, decluttering,
Right.
You may have even a collection, just a collection you want to sell, and we
Right.
will sell that for you. You may have just a few items that you want to sell with us, and we will work with you on that as well. So it can be a full estate liquidation, where again, we come in and remove all items and get that home ready for Bob the realtor to sell, or all the way down to just a small collection. So there's interesting things. There's every avenue in which people need our service. And there's, I guess at some point in everybody's life, you're going to need it. Or when it comes to collections or items you want to sell, you're going to want it. So.
Right. Well, that's cool. Well, it's really interesting, and that was very thorough, and you provided a lot of good information from beginning to end. I think you covered the process and why you do the things you do.
Mm-hmm.
It's really interesting. It's really cool. I'm impressed with how you guys have taken technology and added that to the estate sale business. How can people find you online and on social media?
Well, on Facebook, it's EBTH. Okay, just the initials. Our website is ebth.com.
Okay.
And then on Twitter, it's at EBTHofficial.
Okay.
That's how you find us on Twitter. So, yeah, we truly are the premier estate sale marketplace. And we would love to work with you. It's easy to go on our when you land on our page, on our website. If you would like to receive a free consultation, it's a very easy step. It's at goebth.com. Takes you straight to that page.
Okay. Well, really cool. Thank you for
Well, thank
coming.
you, Bob. This has been fun.
Yeah, it
I like
has been a lot of good information. And everyone, if you like the episode, like, share, comment, as always. But that concludes this week's episode of the Bob Wahl Show. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. I will see you guys next week, and goodbye for now.